Hours after the Israeli army said that it had located bodies in Gaza, it has confirmed that the bodies of 6 hostages have been recovered from a tunnel in the southern city of Rafah.
This morning, our hearts are broken alongside the families of Ori Danino, Alex Lobanov, Almog Sarusi, Hersh Goldberg, Polin, Carmel Gat and Eden Yerushalmi. May their memory be blessed.
The 6 hostages were among the 251 abducted by Hamas militants on October 7th. 5 of them, Eden Yerushalmi, Hersh Goldenberg Polin, Alexander Lobanov, Almog Sarusi and Uri Danino were abducted from a music festival during Hamas's attack, while the 6th hostage, Carmel Gat, was abducted from a nearby farming community. IDF has said that the 6 were brutally murdered by Hamas shortly before the troops arrived, possibly only a day or two before they were found. The military says it did not have the exact location of the hostages, but that it was operating in the area. Troops found the hostages dead on Saturday afternoon while searching a tunnel complex about 20 meters underground. Their bodies were extracted from Gaza overnight and brought to Israel for identification.
We did not have information about the specific location of the hostages. Above the ground, the fighting went on and our forces eliminated terrorists also during the battles that took place there yesterday. The forces are operating in the area at this time as well.
The 6 retrieved bodies include that of an Israeli-American hostage, Hersh Goldenberg Polin. U.S. President Joe Biden has said he is devastated and outraged by the death of the hostages. Biden's statements said that he had worked tirelessly to bring Hersh safely and that he is heartbroken by the news of his death. Biden has vowed that he will keep working around the clock for a deal to secure the release of the remaining hostages. Meanwhile, U.S. Vice President and presidential nominee Kamala Harris has also expressed her condolences to the Goldberg Polin family, saying that Hamas now has even more American blood on its hands. Meanwhile, in Israel, President Isaac Herzog has said in a statement that the heart of an entire nation is crushed into pieces. Herzog has sought forgiveness from the families of the hostages. Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant has also expressed his condolences, while Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has vowed to settle the score with Hamas. Netanyahu has said that whoever murders hostages does not want a deal. The announcement of the deaths has drawn immediate anger and angry reactions against Netanyahu and his government. They have been accused of failing to secure a deal to return the hostages and abandoning them to their deaths. Remember, Netanyahu has remained adamant on maintaining Israeli troops on the Philadelphia corridor. This condition has been a sticking point in the hostage ceasefire talks. Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant, IDF Chief of Staff Herzi Halevi and Mossad Chief David Barnea, they had all raised concerns about this strategy. But the Prime Minister is now being criticized for putting his condition over the lives of the remaining hostages in Gaza. 251 hostages were abducted by Hamas on October 7th. Hamas released 105 civilians during a week-long truce in late November, and 4 hostages were released before that. So a total of 109 hostages who were released. The bodies of 37 hostages have been recovered so far, and 8 hostages have been rescued by troops alive. It is believed that 97 of the hostages still remain in Gaza, and out of them, at least 33 have been confirmed dead by the IDF. Our correspondent Jody Cohen further elaborates on the hostage rescue and the ones who are still in Hamas's captivity. Take a listen.
So I'm at a protest for the hostages. That's after IDF spokesperson Daniel Hagari announced that the IDF found the bodies of 6 hostages, mostly aged in their 20s, who were murdered by Hamas and found in a tunnel in Rafah, which is in the Philadelphia corridor in Gaza. President Herzog said that the heart of an entire nation is crushed to pieces. And the IDF said that the 6 were murdered just days before they were found. Now, one of the 6 is Hersh Goldberg-Polin, an American citizen whose parents spoke recently at the Democrat National Convention. Now, on hearing the news, Vice President Harris said that Hamas must be eliminated and cannot be allowed to control Gaza. She called the Hamas an evil terrorist organization and said that the entire world must condemn Hamas's brutality. Now, President Biden said that he was devastated, outraged and heartbroken, and said that Hamas will pay for these crimes, and said that his administration would keep working around the clock for a deal to secure the release of the remaining hostages.
Julie further updates us on the recovery of hostages, the dead bodies, the 6 hostages' dead bodies, and the failed truce talks.
So there are 101 remaining hostages, 97 from Hamas's 7th of October attack and 4 from previous incidents. And of the 101, 35 are confirmed dead. Now, while President Biden has blamed Hamas for the killing of these hostages, the Hostages and Missing Families Forum in Israel appeared to blame Prime Minister Netanyahu for their killing because Israel didn't succeed in agreeing a deal with Hamas and to save them in time. Now, the forum has called for protests like this one across the country on Sunday. It is important to note that the forum doesn't represent all of the families of the hostages. Some of the families are against the deal, and that's because the deal would not release the male hostages. There's also concern about Hamas's demand for Israel to leave the Philadelphia corridor between Gaza and Egypt, which is where the hostages were found, and that might make Prime Minister Netanyahu even firmer in his position that Israel must retain control there for now until Hamas is defeated. Now, prior to this news, a US official said that the talks last week were detailed and constructive. We know that the 9-day partial humanitarian pause for a polio vaccination campaign has begun in Gaza. Meanwhile, there's been a shooting in the southern West Bank. 3 Israeli police officers have been killed, and it remains to be seen how Israel responds to these latest events.